Welcome back to my annual Oscar series where I talk about all the Oscar categories except for the short film ones. I rank all the nominees per category according to who I think deserves to win the Oscar, then I make a prediction for who I think will win that Oscar. And right now I'll be talking about the last, what I like to call semi-major award at the Oscars, and in my opinion, the best race at this year's Academy Awards. Hands down, you should watch all these nominees. I'm talking about Best Documentary Feature. So the nominees for this are Fire at Sea, Gianfranco Rosi and Donatella Palermo. I Am Not Your Negro, Raoul Peck, Remy Gruletti and Hebert Peck. Life Animated, Roger Ross Williams and Julie Goldman. OJ Made in America, Ezra Edelman and Caroline Waterlow. And the 13th, Ava DuVernay, Spencer Averick and Howard Barish. Now, first things first, I did not get to see I Am Not Your Negro, which is a shame because I've been hearing lots of great things about it. It could be the best documentary of last year, I don't know, but I will have to exclude it from my ranking at this point. However, just from the 4 nominees I've seen, this is the best race this year. They are all so unbelievably great, and they really prove that you should be watching the documentary nominees because I know a lot of people don't, and I think it's proof that, the Academy is 89 years old, at least the Oscars are, and they still have not nominated a documentary for Best Picture, and I think that is a travesty because I would nominate a couple of these for Best Picture in a heartbeat. That's how good they are. I'm excited to talk about these, so in terms of who I think deserves to win the Oscar, at 4th place, I'm going to give it to Life Animated. And what's weird is that Life Animated might be my personal favorite among all of these. I think it's clearly the least refined in terms of filmmaking, but it got such a big emotional reaction out of me that I wasn't expecting to give it. Because this is a documentary about a guy named Owen who developed autism when he was a little boy, but has managed to overcome his disability and learn to live with it, and has, he's living a normal life now, and he learned how to do it because of Disney movies. It's such a great premise. And Owen is just such an incredible human being. He's a wonderful dude who you just want to be friends with. And his story is truly beautiful. This documentary works as a documentary on people with autism. It works as a tribute to animation. And the animated parts in Life Animated are really, really special. There's a certain segment in the middle that's animated that does something so unexpectedly great that I just really wanted to cry. It is such a great film, you have to watch it as soon as possible. Now, 3rd place, I'm going to give it to Fire at Sea. And what's weird is that Fire at Sea is a completely different documentary compared to Life Animated because it is so emotionally detached to the point of it being cold. What Fire at Sea says it is on the surface is it's a documentary about refugees moving to a small Italian island as they're fleeing from their home countries. But what the documentary is really more about is this little boy growing up on this Italian island. But what Fire at Sea does that I find so interesting is that these 2 separate narratives, the immigrants and the little boy, they never overlap. They never share screen time. There's never an acknowledgement of the other in either of the narratives, and that really freaked me out for some reason. It really drove home the point that the message of this documentary is how tragedy is becoming normalized in today's day and age, and that was really kind of chilling to think about. And of all the nominees that I was able to see, this definitely has the best presentation. I don't know if they give cinematography Oscars to documentaries, but this has incredible cinematography and a really great sound design that will get under your skin. Now, at 2nd place, I'm gonna give it to 13th. 13th is one of the fastest paced documentaries I've ever seen, but it doesn't use the fast pace because it's trying to cram in information. Instead, Ava DuVernay uses the pace to overwhelm you with these facts about race relations in America and the prison system and whatnot. It gives us so many facts because the state of race relations in the US is so illogical at this point, and the number of facts they provide really just drives home the point that, they've been getting it wrong since like slavery. And yet even with the fast pace, the facts are so coherent if you pay attention, and they really create this really comprehensive picture that I think is just so damning. Like, I would be interested to see how people would rebut this documentary because I don't see how you can do it. It'll get you really angry for the right reasons, and one of my favorite things that this documentary does is that it uses rap music really well, because each section of the film is divided by rap songs throughout history, and it shows how rappers are sort of like historians of black oppression in America, and I thought that was just such a genius way to do it. But at first place in the film that I think absolutely deserves to win Best Documentary Feature this year is OJ Made in America. Whether or not you see this as a 5-part ESPN miniseries, which is how I think most people have seen it, or whether or not you see it as a 7-hour, 47-minute documentary, which is how it was initially created and shown, OJ Made in America is one of the greatest things you will ever see, and I mean that with all sincerity. Miniseries, movie, whatever, this is one of the best things I think ever made. I used to not care about the O.J. Simpson story because I have no personal connection to it, but it is now one of my favorite true crime stories, one of my favorite courtroom stories. It really helps if you don't know anything about O.J. because this thing has plot twists that absolutely blew my mind, and even if you have if you understand the O.J. story, this movie has levels of nuance that will make your jaw drop. It has some of the best storytelling from any visual thing created in 2016, and I mean that. It is such an entertaining film, but it's also highly informative. It's not just a movie about O.J. Simpson, it's a movie about again, race relations, about celebrity, about Los Angeles as a city, about the police and their relationship with black people. And what's so great is that Ezra Edelman makes every single shred of information so relevant, and they all build up to an incredible climax. I was honestly never bored in 7 hours and 47 minutes of screen time. I was on the edge of my seat. It's such an exciting film. It's tragic, it's entertaining, it is everything, and you absolutely have to make time to watch this. It will be so worth it. And in terms of who I think will win the Oscar, I also think they're going to give it to O.J. Made in America. I think it's built up way too much steam at this point, and I'm hoping the Academy members were at least able to see parts of it when it ran on ESPN. And it is a story about LA, which the Oscars love. The length really is just the thing standing in the way. If they were too lazy to watch everything, I'm pretty sure they're gonna vote for 13th instead, but I really hope OJ takes it. Alright, so those are my thoughts on the Best Documentary Feature category. What do you think of the nominees? What do you think should win? What do you think will win? Whatever you guys think, whether you agree with me or not, please leave me a comment. Let's have a conversation.